What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining me once again. We are going to be looking at a couple things here. All right. My lighting is terrible in here, but I am here. We are going to be talking about a few things here this evening as a couple people get into the stream here. We're going to be talking about some urgent things that in the markets here that tomorrow is going to bring, and one of the biggest things that we're going to be talking about is which is part of the title, is Janet Yellen, and she's going to be meeting with some top regulators tomorrow at some point. I'm not exactly sure, but I imagine that it's going to be pretty important what basically what the little birdies say in regards to Janet here, giving a little talk. Now, she is a big investor in Melvin Capital and Citadel. She's gotten over $800,000 in just payments from Citadel, and Citadel is the one that has all of Melvin Capital's short positions. So I got to talk about this. It's going to be a market mover tomorrow. It's certainly going to drive a couple. I think not only a couple of these stocks that have been heavily shorted, but I think that on the other side, it's going to be pretty interesting because I think they're gonna talk about both things here in the regulator meetings. You got to realize that there's two sides to every story. So I do believe that certain things like Robinhood is going to be discussed, and Wall Street Bets is going to be discussed. And I also think about what about short positions is going to be discussed, which is why we're going to be talking about some silver in here as well. If anybody wants to go look at silver stockpiles, we're going to be talking about that because of the fact that if there is a silver squeeze, actually the largest beneficiary of that would be JP Morgan. They are the ones that own most of it. So that's why it's kind of crazy, but they've kind of cornered the market, and there will be no a large silver squeeze. At least there will be in the physical metal, but not the paper, because there's just too many derivatives out there that they can continue to sell against delivery and basically avoid delivering by printing you more paper. And what will happen at one point is, if it's too high, they'll just give you payments in US dollars of what it's worth instead of giving you the actual silver. So the silver squeeze is definitely a completely different topic than Wall Street Bets, which is kind of like an organized version of something that went viral and acted like a pump and dump. So they're going to have to talk about that. They're going to have to talk about the fact that we have a lot of let me just change that. Since we are live, I better drop some live words in there. Save that there. Okay, so we got some things happening tomorrow. We got some big things happening tomorrow. We had some big things happening throughout the trading day today as well, and even yesterday, right around market close. The first thing that we're going to talk about though is Yellen here, because she will be meeting with all of these people, and like I said, she will be talking about the fact that this GameStop trade definitely represents a pump and dump type of move, but it had reason, and it had actual fundamentals behind it, and it was not just all orchestrated by a group. It was orchestrated by a guy named Roaring Kitty on YouTube, and here he goes under. He posts every single day on on this Reddit site at 2 o'clock, and they're gonna make movies about this, and there's a ton of memes already that they're making, Star Wars type of memes about what's going on here in the daily. But what excited me about today's news and why I decided to go to live tonight to share this with you guys is the fact that we are gonna have so we've had a lot of pullback here in the last couple days. A lot of people are probably down 50 to 75%, especially if you bought at the highs. Um, Obviously, you don't want to try to do that. You want to, in a bubble, you don't want to chase things. That's net probability never works out when you're chasing anything. So we've got to talk about this guy, uh, David Portnoy. He's got a lot of followers too. He just said that today he put $700,000 into AMC. So we also had 2 days ago BlackRock disclosed that they went in and bought close to 60, or they have close to $60 million of AMC. So we're getting these strong buyers for AMC. GameStop is a little bit frothy there. I think AMC has a little bit more power behind the fundamentals to move quite a bit higher. But that will, since they're basically trading lockstep with each other, that won't matter too much. They're gonna get pulled around by GameStop, whatever happens with GameStop. So that's why it was up a little bit more than GameStop was today, but they're still moving very correlated to each other. But the big mover, like I said, is what is going to come out of this Yellen. Basically not the rumors that come out of it, but what are the little tidbits that the little birdies around there, the little reporters, what are they gonna say tomorrow in regards to this meeting? We literally have a pretty big moment here where there's the silver chart. We have a pretty big moment here where we need to talk about basically where we are in these charts. Um, there are a lot of bubbles that actually have two parts to the bubble, and there are a lot of bubbles that sometimes don't. They just have a one swing up and straight down. Now, like I said, when we go to AMC's chart, I think it looks a little bit healthier. Uh, there we go. Just because of the fundamentals. Okay, so we have been stabilizing. We have been right around this closing price right here of the second day. That closing price was pretty important right there. We pretty much almost closed right at it. We're gonna test if you get into the intraday, which you can't on this chart, unfortunately. Um, let's see here. Gotta jump all around here. All right, let's just go 5 days here. Look at some of these. So we got a level here. Basically, we came down here. We kind of bounced right at that those lows. and we retested that this morning. They really sold off this, or yesterday they really sold it off, but then they held. The buyers held. The short selling ended too. Um, if you're looking at some volume charts there, some different volume charts around have showed basically that this that the selling has kind of died off, and the volume has died off. What's going to happen is, in my opinion, that Robinhood's going to start releasing some of the funds, and Yellen and Yellen is and these regulators are going to try to slap some of Wall Street, because you got to remember that they don't want to look bad to the people right now. So they're probably going to try to give a good hand slap to Wall Street tomorrow, and I think that might give some fuel. I think that might give some fuel for us to test up into, for instance, this 12 to 13 area on AMC, and we're also going to test some. Let's see here. Where did that other? Let's just go to GameStop. I got some terrible charts up here right now. These are always my futures charts. Really good at looking at futures markets, but not really good at looking at bubbles, because I can't go intraday in FinViz. But so this is basically, if GameStop, game, this is like a game stock, right? This is unfortunately what the markets are going to probably be extremely volatile, and we're going to have high volatility going forward because of the access that everyone has, and it is a game. When everybody got when all the people got shut down from sports betting, and they went and decided to trade stocks, they realized it's about the same in game game form, but and it really does matter, because a lot of people went from sports betting and got hooked on trading stocks. So let's go revisit this though, here in a second. Let's see if anybody is in here saying hello. What's up, Big White Complex? Hi guys, how are you doing? Appreciate you all. Definitely want to try to give some information out here, and also want to talk a little bit about getting ready for the summer crop coming out too. For everybody that's here, watching the channel because of they enjoy watching what I do, and that's growing, and sharing um, these type of things, though. A lot of people, I think, need to jump in and learn, um, because it's going to become something where you want to control your own finances wherever you are in the world. We talked about some of these things the other day. We talked a little bit about this Dogecoin. It's on another run here. I think I think even though everyone says it might be a scam, I think this whole movement right now is a push. It's a protest. You all understand. It's a protest against Wall Street in the grand scheme of things, and in this near future, uh, which is why it's going to be a cyber future. It's going to be a cyber future where everything's tracked, everything's traced, and everything is also value gets redefined during this new technological awakening. I think people are having, um, especially because of what's happened in the last year, and forcing everybody to kind of be inside and on technology. I think that I think that there's a big I think there's a big problem with that. I think that a lot of people are getting disconnected nowadays from nature, and what reality, uh, a healthy reality, is for us. I think we're becoming too much of a society with, oh, I feel like we are organic computers, and part of that organic part of us needs to be around nature and around uh, the energy of just earth and not polluted and with all of this artificial um, energies and nature and with our computers and our cell phones and lights and TVs and everything that's now around us with 5G and all the other crazy stuff that they're adding. Um, let me if you guys let me jump in here to a little bit of silver talk, because I know a lot of people might. What's up, everybody? Hi, how's it going? Good. So personally, I like AMC over GameStop because of the valuation of and the fact that it's really hard to replace a movie theater. Um, just the experience overall, and the fact that, kids when they're teenagers, like, they don't want to hang out in the house that their parents are at. So movie theaters are kind of like essential to part of a developing society and part of our youth, and we definitely have to um, we definitely have to consider that. Now, when we consider GameStop, we've got to consider video games and the fact that our kids sitting there, they love video games. I mean, I was raised with video games very early. I had Sega Genesis, and that was one of the if anybody has played a 3DO or anything like that. So I think that both of these stocks are going to have some long-term value. I just I know that I think AMC is just in a little bit smaller of a bubble because it didn't have that extreme spike up there, and it didn't. I just think the returns and the fundamentals on AMC are a little bit better. I mean, they can easily rip out all their seats and put recliners in and give you 6 foot spacing and still pack theaters and charge 4 times as much. And the crazy part right now is that if you go look at their market cap before in 2019, they were making $5 billion a year, and that's currently what you know they're valued at. So it's not and that's with the new 600 million shares that got dumped onto and look at this, still 79% shorted is what they're showing us. Now we won't get that update till next Tuesday, and next Tuesday is going to be nuts because of the fact that we're going to get updated short interest on some of this stuff. And I think that, you know, I think a lot of people piled into some of this stuff on the short side recently. I think that they saw the little guys jumping in on the longs and saw ridiculous prices, and a lot of people were shorting. I think we could even see that here. Let's see if I can. I wish I could show you this morning's pre-market here on. Let's see if I can get to a better chart here. Maybe we'll see. Because so in the pre-market, as soon as pre-market opened, they just tried to dump it, and darn it, I let's see here. I want to see it pre-market and after hours. Get rid of this. Get rid of some of these sites now, since I've already covered it. We don't really need everybody. Just Portnoy, jumped on 700,000 shares of AMC today, so he's got a lot of followers as they start to read AMC, and I think tomorrow this is going to be key. Listen for when the news comes out about Yellen and what she says about this type of stuff, GameStop and AMC. I think it's going to be market changing. I think that's going to be a moment in history where we're going to get some volatility. I can't tell you if it's up or down because I don't know what they're going to say and how it's going to be uh, taken. But I do believe that that is going to be the moment to watch whenever that meeting is, and I believe it's tomorrow. Um, what comes out of that, and the rumors and the report and the what they're proposing is going to be pretty pretty changing for the entire markets. Like I said, there what could happen is they could basically ban short selling or ban, you know, a realistic situation would be they could make a threshold, which is you can't short more than 75%, say, of the float. And what that would do is, it would force a lot of these hedge funds to now restructure, go back, re-meet with all their analysts, and take this into accounts because some of the stuff they're going to be, shorting, and some of it they're going to be too much in, and some of them they're just not going to want to touch this stuff anymore because they know that it could be, even more regulated after that. So it's kind of important to pay attention to that type of stuff. I'm really oh yeah, let's see here. We can talk about that. I'm sorry, we should talk about some of that stuff. Um, we should talk about weed stocks since they are up. If you want to hear about weed stocks, give a thumbs up and hit that like button so we can get some more viewers in there. I think there's like 15 of you guys live right now. Let's go. Let's for sure talk about them. Um, I just want to find a little bit better charting here. I don't know. Sure, maybe. Okay, whatever. Okay, I don't know what just happened there, but let's look at Tilray. Tilray is probably the one that a lot of people follow. Um, this is getting kind of interesting. I don't know. Um, they're heavily shorted. They've had a rise with all of this as well. I don't know what their tops will be, but they've certainly kicked off. The marijuana stocks have been heavily shorted during pretty much the Trump administration because everybody knew that Jeff Sessions and the AG back then weren't going to pass any regulations to loosen up. If you want to, since we're going to be talking about this subject now, might as well grab our lovely recreational product there and enjoy a little bit of it. And we will talk a little bit about these things here: Tilray, ACB. We're gonna talk about. I like ACB. So when we look at these companies, we got to look at their ret their debt and their revenues. Also, we got to check out their market caps too, which is I love Market Watch for that type of stuff. They're part of the Wall Street Journal, but they're the free part, so you can always get pretty reliable information on them. The marijuana stocks are different though. That these pot stocks are going to move a lot. This one has 3.72 billion market cap right now. We've watched it go up to $125, and that was a little bit overvalued for what I thought. Now, things right now, let's go look at ACB. Things right now are a lot different than they were the last time the marijuana bubble came around. Things are a lot more optimistic for regulatory changes, and see we got 2.34 there. So they're getting big. These guys are getting a lot larger than and they're finally starting to get some product. Oh, come on, get out of here. Little advertisements. Anyways, what's going on though? So these stocks are all going to be surging. They're all going to continue surging um, because of inflation. I can tell you from being in the industry, as soon as everybody gets their stimulus checks, they go out. Some of it goes into savings. Some of it also goes into uh, buying. Oops. Some of it also goes into buying food, and some of it also goes into buying alcohol and the other one that people are starting to now buy as legalization is their marijuana and their pot. And a lot of people in these times are trying to pass time by smoking a little bit. They're also trying to improve their moods, and that's all very fundamentally actually possible with this product here. So people are using more. A lot of people are using more, and it comes in waves though. Comes in waves with those stimulus checks. So you can see that more and more of these companies they're going to keep growing. I like those two because they're growing a lot. They've purchased a lot of facilities. They've also purchased a lot of uh, They've also purchased a lot different. Uh, um, Sorry, I always get business texts all day long here with this other job. So they've been. There we go. I wish I could see some of this stuff here. Maybe if I move it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you got to look at some of these things called balance sheets at this point. Because all of them are going to be losing money, just like Amazon, which is what a lot of people don't understand in this market. A lot of people, when we're talking about marijuana stocks, we're going to talk about. Yeah, I'm going to try to get uh, some better charts here where we can get it a little bit more customized. You guys got to remember, it's been like what 3 years since I was doing charts and stuff. I just never. I would always pull it up the basic way, and I've got a good feel for kind of charts, so I don't really need nothing fancy. I just need to remember what the price is. Um, but when we talk about these things, we're going to talk about market caps, comparing them to each other. We're also going to talk about the price to book here. That's pretty important because you want their books to be, that the bigger the number, the better, basically, or the smaller the number, the better. So that's good. Price to sales is going to be important to look at. But because we're going to want to see growth here. We're going to want to see like because these stocks have been around for almost right after the Bitcoin big run up to 20,000. Right after that, it seems like these guys all had a big run, and then it went into some other things, and then we had a big push recently in the stock market, and then back to big push in GameStop, and now this heavily shorted sector. This literally, someone could probably come up with a hedge fund right now and raise millions of dollars to that literally just buy the high short interest stocks. Like you could literally probably make a portfolio or a fund with just these that's like a trend right now. Just like you could make a portfolio with pot stocks. Like I don't know, these hedge funds they're very creative. Um, but and so when they do that, it's actually going to help, just like the triple Qs and just like the SPY. Whenever these companies become part of those, and there's ever funds, like it helps inflows and liquidity. And whenever there's inflows and liquidity, you got you get more stable assets, which is also what happened with GameStop and all these AMC as soon as they stopped stopped some of the liquidity with Robinhood, the assets got crushed by the people that did have liquidity, basically to do whatever they wanted, which is usually the big guys. Which is why tomorrow Yellen's words and what she says is going to matter. What she says, I don't remember. Okay, I like I said, I'm still pretty fresh at reusing trading view here, so I'm going to go back here. Let's go see what the short interest is on this. So there's even 20, probably 20% short right now because of, well, this has probably gone down actually because of Biden becoming our president right now. So that a lot of people have probably covered their shorts. But look at that, still 33 million shares short. So that's $50 million that's on the short side right now, basically. The equivalent right now in just shares. We don't even talk about the options market, which if you guys want to jump into that, that's a little bit more advanced. I'm not going to cover that really. If you guys want to learn, you guys can definitely find the information on YouTube from people that'll teach you more about open interest and markets and get into how I can make money and how I made money over the last year just in the markets with buying leaps and selling some of the time value in calendar spreads and fun stuff like that. But so this is the reason why I want to pull up this Dogecoin here is because it's kind of what I predict the outcome of AMC and GameStop to be, but I think it's going to happen in a very short period as well. So we're gonna have this big sell-off, which is what we're having right now. Let's actually go over there because it's going to affect all these cannabis stocks. What happens to GameStop? Because if these short, so depending on the entire sector, all the sectors, I think that it's a bullish. I think it's going to be a bullish news event because they're going to slap the hands of Wall Street saying don't short too much, otherwise you're going to get in trouble in the future. And then they're going to slap the hand of Robinhood and say, try not to make these viral trends happen so you don't get in this pickle again and raise more capital and whatnot. And I think that's going to affect pot stocks. I think it's going to affect silver. I think it's going to affect, but I think it's going to affect it over. It might not happen all at once. It might be slow, because it just the hedge funds and these fund managers, they usually work on a monthly basis, so they start to scale out of things on a monthly basis. And if you look at like silver, for instance, right now, silver's up some more right now, and it looks like we're going to have some more reasons tomorrow when some of these regulators try to clamp down on the banks that are and the hedge funds that are doing these shorts and so back to some of the more of this cannabis talk here because we want to finish what we started here all together. We'll relight that conversation. All right, here we go. So growth in cannabis. Growth in cannabis is going to be a big one, and I think the companies like Tilray and ACB are gonna benefit. I think they'll be bought out at some point, or some of them will be bought out, and it'll drive the price of others up because it's gonna be an industry that I think a lot of people are gonna really really. Oh, let me pop the chat out. Duh, man, I'm so new at going live with all this YouTube stuff. I apologize for not being as prepared as I should be. There we go. Nobody needs to see my face over there, double face. You can all see it. So Now let's talk. Okay. Um, let's talk about legalization. So there's quite a bit of risk in uh the pot stocks, which is why I'm not in them. I'm not invested in them. I mean, obviously my entire life and business is invested in them because that's my main business, right? So personally, I don't feel like I want to be completely all I like to be diversified. I do have a degree in finance. Being diversified is very important, which is why when you go and you throw money into Dogecoin, you do it with like 1% of your entire, portfolio or something like, 2 grand or whatever, one tops. You don't put 20 or 50 grand in there because we're not going to be as lucky as Mr. Deep F in value, and we're not going to be as lucky as well, he's actually not that lucky because he could have sold out at 52 million. He literally watched like $40 million leave his account. I don't know how his stomach is feeling today or yesterday when it was really down, but I can tell you that he, I'm sure that some of that long hair um, that he has is. You guys know who this is, right? That I'm talking about. What is this, Roaring Kitty or something like that? I think so. That's him. Let's just pull up his picture here. And this is like, you've watched his balance literally go from $50,000 to $50 million. There he is. Look at this guy right here. I can't believe there's millions of people following this guy right here. He's just a gamer that decided to throw 50,000 into something that turned into like 3 million. He kept covering it. Then it went to 50 million and then he didn't sell out. He could have literally with that 50 million rebought out. Nobody would have even felt it in the markets. His 50,000 shares. No, like they wouldn't have actually felt it. Like they were shorting this market so hard that it would have just been part of it. And he could have came back and he literally could have bought probably 10 times the amount and showed that he was taking all that and putting it doubling down now when we're down and really drove us higher and really broke this short squeeze. We would have been, we would have done the Volkswagen in 2008 bubble, and everybody has probably seen that by now. What another bubble, VW short squeeze. This happened to VW, um, Volkswagen. Let me see if we can. It became the most expensive firm, literally, in the world. The Volkswagen did. Come on, give me a real chart. Give me a real chart. Give me a real chart. Literally more expensive than anything else in the world in 2008. Volkswagen cars, because they had a short squeeze. Anyways, would have made it so that. Let's try to find this chart here. So the thing with there we go. Here we go. This will work. Okay. You see what happens there with a short squeeze when they're forced to get out. It's kind of nuts. So we could be, fundamentals set us up where that's a possibility like this, but it's going to be fast. So if anybody's in any of this stuff like that's highly shorted, it's gonna be fast. It's gonna move, and you guys are gonna have some money. But you guys also, be smart. If you're making money in this type of stuff that you never expected to come into your life, and all of a sudden you get lucky and you hit a jackpot, and the a balance is right there in front of you, you can sell out. You know that, and you can take it and walk away for a month. And I guarantee you, in another month, there'll be more opportunities, and you'll be so glad that you have 10 times the amount of money that you probably would have if you didn't sell out. Pull up that Doge chart. I like the Doge. Hi Kayla, how's the family and your blueberry farm out there? That yeah, look at this. This is just the beginning of how kind of Bitcoin looked. So I like Doge. I like all these investments. I like the world of cannabis. If you guys, if you gotta think about it. I made good money this last year because I was thinking about, all right, in reality, my everyday life, what is my family using? What are we using? Um, with inflation, I should probably invest in those things, especially with coronavirus, a lot of uncertainty in the markets. So it was a stock picker's market. Did really well in Disney and Apple and what else did I have? Some MGM and all sorts of goodies there that I got invested in and doing leaps in those and options and playing spreads and stuff like that. And but the main focus was when I was buying all this stuff was the fundamentals had to be strong. The technicals had to show that the sellers were dying off, and that was the key. That's the key with basically how you get higher prices, right? The sellers, there's no more, and the reason is because why would you sell? Like, and so I'm seeing that in AMC and uh, GameStop. I can't get that out of my tongue. Um, yes, I of course I remember. I've got a very good memory, but I tend to forget some little things day to day. Probably because of this stuff kills your short-term memory. So we've got some options here, because tomorrow is gonna be a rocking day. Tomorrow is gonna be a day of oh, I gotta change this here a little bit. Tomorrow is gonna be a day where a lot of people are gonna go and um, might as well put some Dogecoin in there, right? We love some Dogecoin. Like I said, you guys got to play small, and tomorrow's going to be a rocking day for markets because I think we're also getting interest rates or something like that too. So there's going to be a lot of movers, a lot of reasons why people are going to say we're going to go up and down and up and down, but the market's going to just decide what it's going to want to do. I really like Dogecoin because of the fact that Robinhood has it, and I don't think Robinhood's going away. And as soon as they give access back to everybody, well, the people that didn't leave aren't that they're just gonna stay there. Very nice. So I actually bought a old gas station and turning it into a dispensary now in this little farming town, and so kind of redoing that right now. But so congrats on your. I'm sure gas is doing nice. You guys should look up getting a partnership with Tesla. Tesla will actually at your gas station or whatever, they will literally pay for all your electrical and for it to be installed for you to be a charging station too. They'll pay you to do all that. So and they'll put like two or so chargers in and get you guys some more traffic. That's what I'm thinking about doing. So back to talking about some of these things. Um, we're gonna be talking a little bit about Doge here. Let me give 5 minutes to Doge because of the I think a lot of people I think a lot of people feel that our financial system's kind of a joke, and so they're kind of I don't know. I think they're attracted to this financial asset that, kind of tries to make fun of that. And I think also because a lot of people feel like they missed out on Bitcoin. I think that a lot of people are searching for alternatives to, not paying $40,000 for a Bitcoin when, in reality, you're able to jump in here and get 100,000 of these for, under 5 grand. It's a little bit more acceptable for people. And yeah, it's a little bit more. I mean, if you're a kid and you're getting a $2,000 stimulus check, say, not a kid, but someone that's between 30 and 20, and you decide to put your money into, say, Robinhood because it's simple and all your friends use it, like that's what they use, then what do you have access to? And when you're looking around and maybe you made some good money on Tesla or Apple, or maybe you made 100% say this year on some of that stuff, and you're just trying to diversify, you're looking for what else is going to make you 100%. It's pretty, I think it's pretty realistic to say that Dogecoin, especially in the crypto world, you guys got to remember, crypto world is nuts. It's about 10 times as volatile as the regular, Bitcoin or stock market world, unless you're playing with some super heavy leveraged options. So it's and so it's got a lot of people that are gaining access to it, and the more access, just like with Bitcoin, the more the price goes up. Um, it's just as simple as that, really is. Um, so so we we're watching this one. We got a little bit of this one, not much, like I said. You don't want to with some of these more, you don't know how it's going to turn out. It could completely disappear because it's so volatile. Like you don't want to put a lot into it, especially if you're just learning. 200 bucks into Dogecoin would be a lot for most people. But that 200 bucks, like, if it goes from when I talked about it 3 days ago, is at 2.5 cents. If it goes from 2.5 cents to 10 cents, it's that gives you a little bit more money to do this stuff. And then you want to diversify and put 250 bucks into 3 ideas. you know um what's up, Colorado? In the house, Colorado Springs, real close by. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys hitting that thumbs up too. All you guys that have been with me for a long, long time. We'll talk about anything that you want to when I stream live. I'm gonna drop another grow video here coming up real soon, but I do want you guys to share this so that I can, start. I'm gonna start as much as I possibly can when I think big market moving moments like tomorrow, with Yellen. Everybody watch for Miss Yellen. She's the Treasury has a lot of power, and it's a weird power too, because they have power over the U.S. Mint and all sorts of silver stuff, and it's a very I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracies, I would say. Um, you can go down a lot of rabbit holes at where that might lead, with hedge funds and J.P. Morgan and all sorts of silver positions, but um, let's see here. Oh, you need a broker app. That's non-US. Let's see here. There's like 14 or 15 of them. That I don't know what they actually are. Um, just make sure that they're whoever you're using. Make sure that they have some sort of local legality, and you're just following local legal rules. Um, Yeah, it just depends. Outside the U.S., like all day it's Binance, which is why I got that pulled up. Like all day, that's one of the largest exchanges in the I think in the non-U.S. market. that have access to the most coins. I like E-Trade. I don't mind E-Trade. I don't mind them all. I think that I think that this is gonna be. I think what they did, what all the brokerages did by limiting buys, like that was legit. Like everybody was kind of crying and jumped on a media train against the brokerages because for the first time, a lot of people that have no knowledge of what they sign or what financial like stock rules and stuff are, like they kind of got shocked at, oh wow, there's a lot of regulations in this industry. Well, and there's a lot of regulations because there's a lot of people that have lost a lot of money in scams, you know. So I think that yeah, Coinbase is good for crypto. And I think E-Trade and Fidelity and TD Ameritrade and all of them. Tasty Trade is a really good one. Thinkorswim, Interactive Brokers, they're all good. They're all the same basically. They all have really good access and they all have uh, uh, basically requirements, margin requirements. They all have a no buy, sell only list. Like, yeah, I told you guys this in the last stream. I have literally worked in the brokerage industry and seen pages and pages of sell only stocks, and most of them are penny stocks, and it's kind of yeah. So right now basically what's going on is, we've had a significant pullback because a lot of people were like, whoa, what's going on? We're going to transfer all our stuff out because it's sell only and go somewhere else. Well, we had like 3 days. So tomorrow is going to be interesting because a lot of these transfers are going to hit. Yellen's going to talk. I believe interest rates are going to come out. The Fed on their interest rates, if they haven't already. There's, I believe, a meeting or something, meeting minutes maybe. Um, like I said, it's just going to be a jam-packed day tomorrow. That's why I think it's going to be exciting, and that's why I titled this basically that tomorrow is an urgent live update, because I feel like what's going to happen tomorrow is going to start the next wave, and the next wave could literally be another bubble surge with all these short stocks and I don't know the let's go look at the dollar and the VIX. They usually tell us some things too. So this was the day of everyone getting scared that the banks were all going to collapse, right? The world was ending. Well, that's dropped off. It always does too. It always loves to spike above 30, come back down. Could give it steam to propel lower, and but all the way into the 20s, which would make the stock market soar. But we're gonna kind of check out on this U.S. dollar here. U.S. dollar has support. I mean, this is what you would call like a kind of an inverse head and shoulders right here. And, so we could see some strength, but depends on, like I said, Feds tomorrow, Yellen interest rates. It's really gonna spice the market up. What the news is on the GameStop. I don't think much other than that's gonna be a. You got to think about it. What does mainstream media like to talk about? They love to talk about that drama. They love the drama, and they love to talk about exciting news. This whole GameStop thing became viral because we haven't had any like really exciting news since the election was kind of over. There hasn't been much to really catch your attention. We were kind of all getting bored and desensitized, I think, which is really unfortunate. But we're gonna try to make some moves and some money off of that type of stuff. Um, so overall, when we talk about the markets and when we talk about gold and silver and I think we got a couple days to wait. I don't think you can really, if you've been long in some of this stuff, if you've had GameStop, if you've had some AMC, if you've had you need these other highly short positions all the way over here. This is the website you can go. This will be updated on next Tuesday. They do this every 15 days. They have to report numbers, and so this is going to show the same thing every single day, basically. Like this is, and what sucks is it's delayed like 10 days. So the number that we get on February 9th right here will actually be from January 31st. So yeah, you guys got to try, right? You guys got to be able to try. I'm gonna tell you that how it works is just like just you got to make smart, intelligent moves, and you got to take profits, and you got to be observant. The market, YouTube, trends, you guys put all those together, you follow stupid people with a bunch of followers, and you see a herd. What the smart person gets with the herd, and then they get out of the herd before the herd runs off the cliff. That's what happens. The herd goes up, and they all, well, don't run off the cliff without all the other herd. As they're all running in, when you see the last few buffalo get in the herd, like they just know that they're all about to run off the cliff. And we'll see, though. This has some fundamental power to it, and I think that if something like that happens, and our shorts, or these highly shorted companies, all start to run back up, and Wall Street starts to get a little bit of stress, it could start cracking the market, and you could see cryptos really run at that point as people start to search for alternative investments, because this was a scare for a lot of people that thought that they had safe money, just because it became a news headline. Everybody's so glued to their darn TVs in their houses that something just catches fire and it goes viral. Now it's up to, you know now it's these large or these small penny stocks or I'm sorry, these small companies that are almost penny stocks, but they're super highly shorted. So um, we're gonna find out, though, what happens tomorrow. Oh man.
The connection you make today could be the first step.
Whoops, sorry about that. Connection today. So I appreciate all the thumbs up there. I appreciate all the live viewers here. Is there anything else that you guys want me to cover here before I kind of wrap it up here? It is a weeknight. I do want to thank everybody that jumped in here, and just recapping. Talked about basically what's going to happen tomorrow. We got Yellen talking with a bunch of basically smarties, and we're gonna see what they decide, because they're gonna try. Good thing about government, we can always rely on them is for their regulations. They're always gonna come in and throw more and more regulations onto the market, so that will change things. Now, good thing about cannabis stocks, they are loosening up regulations. They've chosen this industry to not attack yet. They'll probably have to regulate it, and then they'll attack it as they see that it's kind of a crazy industry still, and it's gonna have a lot of it's gonna have there's good and bad with everything, and there's gonna be quite a few, I think, bad things. Maybe people that take advantage of this market, and I don't. I'm not excited for that, but I am excited for a lot of people to get access to something that's been ancient medicine, and a lot of people have gone basically a lot of people have gotten off of synthetic pharmaceutical AI made materials, and I think going back to an earth made where our organic chemistry likes organic chemistry a lot better than mixing organic and synthetic. Um, so the companies that I do like is and what I would say, because is if you understand leaps and options, that is a way to play some of these, and I've thought about playing some of these, Tilray and ACB, and the other one, any of them that are making news, they're making money, and they're making investments. You guys definitely want to go and look at their assets. Make sure they got assets. There will always be fakers and scammers in everything that we try to do, especially the more and more that you all get involved into technology. Technology is where they will try to come into your lives and access what's vulnerable to all of you guys. So make sure you guys are all protected and safe with your passwords and your entire life. Um, especially with the big money accounts. A lot of you guys got cryptos, certain places. Make sure you guys are being safe in those different those different basically those different accounts. Because you guys probably got money all over the basically all over the place, all over the internet. Make sure that you're safe. Make sure you're updated. Make sure you guys are wary of being scammed. I've been scammed. I've been scammed by the Russian YouTube hackers. So it's and I'd be the last guy you probably think that'd be scammed and hacked, right? But I got out of the industry for 6 months, thought about it, got scammed. So um, yeah, you guys can make money. You guys can make money. You have to try. You have to not, be afraid of the risks, but you have to understand the risks. And if there's a choice between eating and steaks, or and putting some money away and putting them into some investments, this type of stuff is how I changed my life. This is how I was able to get a first good step up and start my business, is by starting a YouTube channel, grinding away, getting a few $100s, then turning that into a few thousand, and then actually turning that into a few 20s of thousands. And then once I got up over a certain point, I was like, okay, I need to sell out of this and put it into something safe and stable, and that's gonna, be my lifetime work, and that gave me the starting capital to do that, and that's why I'm jumping back in here and sharing these videos and sharing these things with you guys, because it's really important to know how to do some of this stuff, because access to it and just hearing about it and understanding it isn't enough. It's actually getting involved and doing it with your money. The first time I realized that the street, which is, pressing that buy button on your computer with your money, investing in it, the street, when you're actually, it gives you different lessons than what your book life is, and the education. It completely changed my life when I started actually investing my own money, and got some skin in the game. Once you get skin in the game, you start to learn. That's when you start to learn, because you have skin in the game. If you haven't even bought, if you want to learn about this whole AMC GameStop situation, I guarantee you that if you buy one share, you will learn more about it than if you don't buy any shares at all. Just by buying one share, $10 of AMC, or like GameStop is under $100 now. One share is still $100 though, you know. So you're risking that, but I guarantee you, if you put that skin in there, you will learn. And I also guarantee you, if you put all your skin into one thing, that will teach you a different lesson. That will teach you a lesson to never do that again. which is an important lesson to hear from a lot of people, so that when you get to that moment and your greed and your FOMO and your oh, if I, you know, if it just hits this number, I'll have that much. That's the wrong thought process. You got to have a fundamental reason, so that when you invest in it, when you press that buy button and you walk away from the computer, you're confident that the next time you might check it, it'll be higher. And if it's not, you're confident that it will be at some point, because that's why you bought it. You bought it because you knew it was of good value to you. If it's not at good value to you, then why would you buy it? So let me leave you all with that. Please share this. Hit that like button. Thank you all for joining me a little bit tonight. I do appreciate it. We wanted to cover some of the things, and I'll keep trying to do these as long as I can. Give you a little hour here and there, and catch up with you all. I appreciate all the comments there. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all you guys. It's really fun to, it's really fun to jump in the middle of the night and literally have 20 people watching right now that that are excited about one thing or the other that we just talked about in this last hour, and really excited about potentially making money and changing their life. I'm not. I'm only gonna try to document my experiences, because being on YouTube and getting into this stuff has changed my life. So I want to continue doing that for everybody else. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the thumbs ups. The thumbs ups always go up when I ask for more thumbs up, and I appreciate you guys. And I promise I won't sit in some funky gamer chair, and I promise I won't sit wear sunglasses and try to act really like Karate Kid, even though this guy is probably really fun to hang out with. Um, you know, let's let's go ahead and call it a night. And everybody, I hope you get some nice sleep and we wake up and we try to make some more money tomorrow. With that, I will catch you all later. Have a great night, and let's see here. Let's see here. Let's go. Let's go.